edit sober.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, there's that as well. Yeah, that's a better one.
Okay. Bismillah.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Mind Heist.
Alaikum salam.
We have Kaya with us.
Jazakallah khairan for having me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, cool. What I'm gonna try and give you like a 60-second intro, and then you can add or minus. So I think the headlines of Kaya basically, you are a Londoner. You're originally from Cyprus, Turkish Cyprus. You're a business guy. You've been doing business pretty much. I mean, you had a short time where you're doing jobs, but mostly, you've been doing business, working for yourself. 4 years ago, you moved to UAE. I don't know if you call yourself this. You're like co-host of Freshly Grounded. That's my summary, bro. You got 2 kids, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. No, that's it. That's a good summary. I think that sums things up.
Yeah.
Jazakallah khairan for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's 3.5 years ago I moved here, isn't it? Something like that. It hasn't been quite full.
Oh, really? Okay.
3.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, other than that, you got it right.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah. So I think that's a good summary. That's like headlines. People just want headlines. Okay, how do I box this guy into a category?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's true. Yes.
But yeah, so 3.5 years, mashallah, wow. 3.5 years in UAE. Now, in UAE, like, with our mutual friend Ridwan, he moved over there when I was living there. So I saw him when he was fresh, and then a year later, 2 years later. What do you know now that you didn't know, like, let's say 3 years ago, whatever, when you were fresh? Like, what are the big things, like the veteran things?
Yeah. Okay. So one thing I will say, right, which comes to my mind when you say that, whenever brothers come over here and sisters from London, the West, and they're like, come to scope it, and they say, I want to come scope it out.
Yeah.
And well, they just want to come even if just for like a holiday,
okay.
Right? But they are practicing and things like that. What they'll still do is they'll still stay.
Yeah.
And by stay, I mean they'll choose a hotel.
Yeah.
And they'll remain the entire 2 weeks they're here in like the most touristy of areas of Dubai, right? Marina, the Palm, and those basically those 2 areas. Maybe downtown. They'll venture to downtown, and sometimes I see brothers just come for like 2-3 times, and it's still just stay in that area.
Yeah.
And it's like their whole view of Dubai and the UAE is just based off that. And it's like when you live here, and I'll encourage anybody who doesn't live here yet. Or isn't planning to, which is going to visit, venture out those areas and see like other areas. And we were talking about some areas before we hit the record button. There is another side of Dubai, is where people actually live and go to school and go to work and things like that. And it isn't like those areas. And me having lived there for 3.5 years, I'm almost never in the marina. The palm every now and again, just like because there's a nice mall there, but almost never, right? And I live in Dubai. So that's one thing I'll probably say, which is like those touristy areas are like less than 10% of what Dubai is. And so if you venture out, you'll see a very different side of Dubai.
Yeah. We were saying that a month or 2 ago when I was going to come to Dubai, wasn't I? And you were telling me like, you never go to Marina and stuff. Actually, I don't recommend people go Marina, and it's also like, like in London, imagine you go to London and then you're only in the city, or like, I don't know, Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you're only in Canary Wharf. Like, that is very different to other parts of London. And not many
100%.
normal people live in Canary Wharf anyway, so.
100%. And when me and my wife were considering moving here, we did that stuff. We did the touristy stuff, and it's nice, it's beautiful, it's like beautiful buildings and stuff, fine. But we said, okay, we'll go again, but this time we'll stay in like the non-touristy area where it's like there's no skyscrapers, nothing like that. You're living with the normal people, so to speak. And we just stayed there for like 2 weeks, I think, just to make sure that we weren't. That was in Bur Dubai.
Oh, okay.
So close to like kind of like we went in. Okay. We made sure we weren't trying to. Yeah. So we stayed there for 2 weeks, I think. And we just to make sure we weren't like, we just loved like the skyscraper vibe and stuff like that, the touristy vibe. We wanted to make sure we actually liked the city for what it was. So I recommend that, because you discover a side that most tourists don't see, and that I personally love. Right. So a few days ago, I had my lunch was two mini chicken samosas and a cut up tea,
Okay.
and it cost me two dirham, right, which is like what 40p.
Do that on for what?
And that's
Per each one, right?
cut. No. The kalak and it's the mini samosas, to be fair, but it's still two samosas.
Wow.
So yeah, two samosas, two for
Mad.
two dirham, and that's like I love that. I love being able to do that. It's just like it's great tea, it's great samosa, very cheap, and like when you're in those areas, just get a different vibe. So yeah, that's probably what I'd say is like the main thing that I've sort of picked
That
up.
sounds like when I was in Umrah last week, well, it was 2 weeks ago. A lot of the restaurants, especially in Medina, they not operate like that, kind of like fully on a volume basis. So you'll go there and the chicken biryani will be like 12 riyal, which is like 12 dirham, right? And I'm like, how are they making money out of this? And especially like this is there's only one Medina in the world, so you would imagine that there would be people doing the whole fancy premium thing, but a lot of it is like volume, like thousands of these biryanis just fishing them out.
Yeah, I love that. And you know me, I'm a biryani man, so I've definitely I've had my fun with biryani out here as well. I've gone on like little mini biryani, how can I describe it? Like biryani shop hopping, where I'm like, in one week I've tried 5 biryani spots. Yeah. No, I finished it off. In like 1 week I've tried like 5 of them, like different places to like, try and rank them and stuff like that. But yeah, the prices are great, the quality is great. They're making it in like massive pots, isn't it? So that's how they're able to do it, which is like some huge like pot the size of this room type of thing.
Do you do chicken or lamb?
I love that stuff, man. I prefer chicken, like mutton biryani is big here, and I see why, like it's nice, but I prefer. I remember one time you talk about biryani, say like you can just shovel it in. I think you're talking to it was another podcast. You can just shovel that stuff in. With chicken, you can shovel it in, man. So yeah, I'm a chicken man.
Okay. What like outside of so you said like a lot of people go to those areas. Have you been to many areas outside of Dubai? Like what's like highlights for you outside of Dubai?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a couple times I've been to like Fujairah, which is like if you drive towards the mountains from Dubai, over the mountains is Fujairah. But in between, Fujairah is another city, another emirate, sorry. But in between Dubai, Sharjah, and Fujairah is like lots of little villages and towns. Like Masafi is like a mountain village, and in there's lots of like wadis, like valleys, and in the winter time there's like little waterfalls forming, and like there's like little dams and lakes, that type of thing. Very, very beautiful and mountainous. That's beautiful. I want to spend more time in like the mountains and stuff, like doing hiking or just driving around. But yeah, I definitely recommend those areas. And Sharjah also, just in general, like Sharjah, even the city, it definitely got its own vibe to it. And they're building a lot of communities that are like on the outskirts of Sharjah, where it's like it's still coming up, but it's like very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like almost like rural and like kind of like a countryside vibe, but it's still like with townhouses and villas type of thing. So yeah,
is that near where that Turkish style masjid is?
Yeah, so that's the Sharjah Grand Mosque, which is a beautiful masjid. Behind that, one of our mutual friends lives there, and slightly up the road from that, but that whole area is sort of being developed. Whereas like it's on the outskirts, you got a desert like right behind you. But yeah, I think that's gonna be really beautiful once fully developed.
You been Abu Dhabi much?
You know what, I haven't, because during my first couple of years here was COVID times, and going into Abu Dhabi was difficult.
That was next level.
There was the border control set up, so it was difficult for a while. I've only been there for a day and come back, so that's on my to-do list.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, just for a day. So I want to definitely do that. Mountains, Abu Dhabi. I suppose I've been to Al Ain, as you know. Right? I visited you in Al Ain, so that kind of counts. And Al Ain is beautiful as well. It's got some beautiful scenery on the way there and there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't done enough, man, because of the kids. Like, it's difficult to just like, okay, we're gonna go for a road trip for like 8 hours and do stuff. Yeah. As you know, it's difficult, but it's definitely something I'm trying to do more of, inshallah.
Yeah. I think actually, bro, the best part of the UAE is the how do you say it? The rocky landscape part of it. So
Yeah, I agree.
so yeah, it is pretty much Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah as well. Um,
Yeah,
and when I was a kid growing up in UAE, we would do camping in those kind of wadi areas sometimes, and
yeah.
that was really good. And I think it was the year you moved to UAE. I was like, the winter is coming up. What month did you move to UAE? Do you remember?
It was January
January. Okay, so it's
2020.
winter, isn't it? So that year, I was thinking, I really want to take advantage of the nice weather and like actually do stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Kaya's coming. Okay, maybe Kaya will be up for it, this and that. Because it's always a struggle to find people to do it stuff with, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then Corona came and just smashed us.
100%. But by the time I got my visa and stuff, it was like Corona's like in full effect. So it was tough, man. But inshallah, when you come for a visit, we'll do it if you can come in the winter.
Yeah.
Because I'm on it. I know a few brothers that are here are on doing it, like a proper camping session.
Yeah.
There's a few ways you can do it. You can do the whole glamping thing, where it's like a company will help set it all up for you, and it will be like kind of done for you.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to do it like just like raggo, like go out there with a sleeping bag and just try and make it work,
Yeah.
and a few planks of wood to make a fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on it. I'm definitely on it.
No, it's fully.
Recently, I
fully
did horse riding.
Yeah.
Recently, I did horse riding. That was fun. A bit nervy at first, but fun once I got used to it. And that was like out in the desert and stuff. So I want to do more horse riding, archery, camping. What else? Those are the three I want to try and like do more of. Just like and get good at them.
Have you done
Get
much
good at
of
them.
those?
And maybe
since you've
shooting as
been
well.
there? Or just taste?
No, that was the
taste
first
these
time.
things?
I've done like the whole. I did the glamping thing for like an evening, which was nice. It wasn't actual camping. Horse riding was the first time. I haven't done any archery yet, so no. The answer is to that.
Okay.
No.
So do you,
these are things I want
like?
to
Do you
though.
feel like you've taken full advantage of all these available things yet, or not? So
Not
much?
at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. I mean, with the combination of COVID and kids,
Yeah.
it's just been like it's tough to do it. Like to just say, hey, I'm gonna like go to the desert and sleep in the desert tonight is tough.
Yeah.
But inshallah, as they get a bit older, I can swing these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't taken advantage, and I definitely feel the pressure every winter to like let's actually get out there and do stuff. There's a few things that you can do with kids that are outdoors that like I enjoy. It's not like too adventurous. Like Quranic Park is one park that we like a lot to go to. It's like out. It's a park that's basically, they've got different sections of any tree or plant that's mentioned in the Quran or the Sunnah. They've got like that growing there. And it's a very big park, and people go there and like just do picnics, stuff like that.
Right.
So that's nice.
Right.
So I want to do more stuff like that, but I also want to do like more like big boy stuff in the desert, in the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. Like the sad thing is, that when you have kids, you can't do a lot of these things with the kids. So then you start wanting to do it without the kids, which means without your wife as well, which means like you want to do stuff on your own, but then it's like, so I don't have a solution
It's
to
tough.
that. I end up doing nothing, like kind of doing nothing.
That's kind of what happened. That's kind of I was going to ask you, like where you are, you've got like a big forest next to you, right? Like a big.
I do, yeah.
Have you like ventured into that at all, like little hiking session? Or is there any activities around there?
Yeah. So I have been there like for barbecues. We've done that in the forest. They have a paintball place there as well, which I've been to a couple times, and the horse riding that I just did a few days ago, that was in that woods of area. So I mean, it's like what's it called? Belgrade Ormana, right? That is like huge. Obviously, that's pretty much like the size of Istanbul, or kind of the size. So yes, it does border where I am, but specifically where I am is like a subsection of it, you could say, which has they have some like activities kind of stuff set up there. So yeah, I went horse riding there on Tuesday, and
how's that?
It was good, bro. I don't know how you approached it, but I went like kind of signed up for lessons, So it was like, teach me how to ride a horse. Did you do it like that, or just like a joyride thing?
Not really. It was more like a joyride, but like when I said to the guy, I've never been on a horse properly before, he sort of like, he was like, make sure I was cool. but it wasn't really a lesson. It was more just like we were gonna get on a horse, we were gonna do like a desert ride.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I didn't get like tips from the guy, and he didn't really speak much English either. But he was like showing me things I was doing wrong and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a half type deal.
Okay.
But yeah. So are you doing lessons like actively?
Yeah. So I'm doing lessons twice a week, inshallah. I just started yesterday, the first one. And it was good, bro. I can see how it's difficult. It's definitely a skill.
Yeah.
But I don't have aching legs or anything that they told me I might have. But we didn't do much trotting. Like we just did a little bit of trotting, which is where you really have to use your legs and I guess your core muscles. But yeah, bro, I've been wanting to do this, some kind of like what you're saying, like learn one of these skills, whether it's shooting, whether it's archery, horse riding, yeah, pretty much any of these. So yeah, I mean, horse riding, yeah, so be it. I've been eyeing it actually for about 6 months. But you know, I've been traveling quite a lot recently, and you know, my mum passed away and everything. Allah yarham her, and I was in the UK quite a lot. So now, hopefully, I won't be traveling like much. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, bro, because it's nice to have a skill you're like honing. I think like me and you, probably we've been doing that in the form of business, right, for like years. But it's good to do it like in another sphere.
100%. And I've kind of been craving doing something like that. With the trotting thing, just going back to the horse riding, right? How did you find? Did you find it difficult? I know you did it a little bit. Difficult, because I found it very difficult,
bro. Difficult.
You got to get like in sync with the horse, isn't it? Like one of my friends I was with, he's been doing horse riding for I think like I don't know, a year or something like that, and he could do it. And watching him trot, it was like he's almost like he wasn't even moving, like he was always like stationary on the horse. And I was like, how are you doing that? Because if you're not in sync with it, like the horse is like you're smashing into it like constantly, and it's like I couldn't sync myself with it.
Exactly.
So that's one thing I will struggle with, but I can see how once you crack it, it will be such a peaceful thing. Because I was watching him, and he was just like at peace. Like the horse was like doing exactly what he wanted. He could control exactly how he wanted to do it. If it was going fast or slow, he looked like he was like not breaking a sweat. So it's something I want to get good at, but I don't know how much time I can like commit to it like every week to do it. But it's definitely something I want to do.
Yeah, what I'm doing is 2 sessions a week, which I guess ends up being an hour, but officially it's like 45 minutes. I mean, we went to 2 different guys. One guy, Turkish guy, his place was a bit more rugged and raw. Okay, and he said 10 sessions. And if you're not really like confident on the horse after 10 sessions, I'll continue for free. So I was like, I kind of like that guarantee thing. And I was like, this is like a sneaky way to get Turkish practice in as well, right? But then my friends went and checked out another place where there were Arabs, and they ended up going with that. And I'm like, for the sake of it, like, let's just get started. I went with them to do it. So now I'm with Arab, and he didn't have that same guarantee, but he's not so much on that vibe of 10 lessons and you're good. No, he's like, look, this is difficult, this takes time, this takes effort, which seems more realistic. It
does seem more realistic.
But you know, for the first session, what did we do? We just sat on the horse and walked around with someone like pulling it, so we weren't doing anything, we're just kind of sitting on it, getting used to that. Then we started, it sounds dumb and it looks dumb as well. We're just like going up and down on our own, right? Because you're getting ready for preparing for trotting. So we did that like a lot, like just going up and down, like sit up, down kind of thing. And one thing I wasn't sure is like, because you're just using your leg muscles to get up and down, and I guess maybe your core as well. And I didn't know how much I'm allowed to squeeze the horse when doing that. Because I thought maybe it's going to trigger the horse to run. I don't know what it's going to do.
I was thinking the same thing.
But yeah, anyway, so we're doing that up and down. Then he said, okay, let's try trotting. So I just went around once trying that. And I don't think I did very well. I don't know what it looked like from the outside, but the other guys my friends that were with me, they looked smooth. And I was not smooth. Like it was actually painful, Yanni. It's the first time, so it's fine. After that, the good thing was, which we ended on, which was riding it on our own, like like just walking, not trotting,
Right.
like riding it,
Yeah.
directing it, turning, all of that, stopping, starting. We did that. So that's kind of like you feel a little bit of progress at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we did in the first
100%.
session.
It sounds like your session was exactly like my session, to be honest. Mostly walking. I had like 5 attempts of trotting, like with breathers in between, because it was like a walk. It wasn't set out to be a lesson. We walked out to a lake in the desert and then come back. Basically, it's like a 45-minute walk.
Right.
So in that 45 minutes, I attempted trotting like 5-6 times,
Oh,
and it all went how you described it: painful,
yeah.
not smooth. And I couldn't quite get it, quite frankly.
yeah.
And I didn't know. I could see everybody else like lifting themselves up, but I didn't understand again how much I should do that. Like how much should I push down? Is that going to make you want to go fast? So I was nervous about that. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to master, man. Yeah, we'll see.
You actually want to
It's
master
definitely
it, yeah?
keep posted. I think the thing is, I think you say 10 lessons, you probably will need more, but I can actually see after 10 hours of riding a horse, you probably are fine. Like you probably do know everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Because in 45 minutes, I went from being my first thought when I got on a horse was, damn, I need a seatbelt because they didn't do the thing where it's like, okay, we'll walk in a circle and you'll get used to it. My guy just like grabbed the horse and started walking with me till it was a desert. So it's like I had to get used to it as I'm going over.
Yeah.
And I suppose it was just walking, but there was no like, babysitting me, should we say. I was just with everybody else, and other people knew how to ride and stuff. So I went from that to like, I also did what you did, which is by myself, just with the horse. No one was holding the horse with the reins in 45 minutes. And obviously I was still not great, but if I do 10 of those, I'll probably be fine.
I mean, you'd be intermediate, innit?
Yeah, obviously I wouldn't be as good as somebody who's like literally done it for like 10 years. But what I mean is, I don't feel I need at that point a teacher. After 10 years, I think I've probably just like, anything I haven't learned, it's just like, it has to come from experience type of thing, more than likely. I'm sure there's like horse experts listen to this and just like
cringing,
not like, yeah, cringing. But that's the feeling I got. I feel like it's definitely kind of like riding a bike. The first time we try it, it just seems impossible. Like, how will this work? But then you'll turn a corner, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And then it'll just be like all downhill from there. But hopefully in a good way.
Really, yeah? I hope it's like that, bro. If it's like riding a bike,
that's the vibe I got.
If it's like riding a bike, that's kind of all right.
Yeah, man, I do get that vibe, because when you think about it, there was a time in history where everybody knew how to ride a horse. You'd learn to ride a horse at like 5, 6, 7 years old, and you rode horses now forever. Like you go to the markets in Syria, wherever you were from, and do the stuff, and come back, and you'll be months on your horse.
Yeah.
So it must be something that's relatively easy to grasp and remember how to do, right? Like, I think, anyway. But I'll tell you one thing, one more little story from it. When I did have the reins to myself and nobody's holding the horse, I was holding them too loose, right? And the horse started to like, I don't know what the word is, but it was sort of like trying to go its own way rather than the path, because I was holding it too loose. I was giving it too much freedom.
Giving you all that.
To grab it. Yeah, give me all that. So that I learned, that lesson was like, okay, you actually do have to be constantly showing them that you're in charge. Otherwise they'll try to like take charge of themselves. So that was interesting.
What the guy told me was, he's like, if you look at the horse or you look down, it's just gonna like, it's gonna stop, or it's gonna go wherever. It knows that you're not looking ahead. He's like, you have to look where you want to go, and the horse will feel that, or it will see that, Yani. So
wow, I don't know that.
He told me that. Okay. That was like apparently my main mistake when trotting. He's like, when the horse started trotting, you were looking down, so you kind of messed yourself up from the beginning that way. So lesson learned from that. But I felt like maybe I'm just like, I feel intimidated by it or whatever. But you know how like there's the levels of coffee, making coffee. You know coffee, innit? Coffee. Yeah. There's like coffee, like maybe how I make it, right? Like if you gave me 15 types of beans, I'll probably taste all the same to me, right? And I just throw it in a mocha pot, and I don't grind it. I just get it ground. If it's a month-old coffee or a year-old coffee, I don't taste the difference. And then I make my mocha thing, and then I just drink in it. It's like, all right. But you know there's levels to that. Yeah. So I feel like I feel like there's so many levels, and it's like, okay, I could get intermediate level after 10 sessions, but then there's like,
Yeah.
Mastery is like,
Oh,
seems
for
like a
sure.
big
I mean,
deal.
of course, like the top level is like, and they do it here. There's lessons here we can do archery on the horse,
Exactly.
right? So it's like, obviously, I'm not saying 10 lessons you'll be able to do that, but yeah, I mean, like to the point where you don't necessarily need to hold your hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, that if I was going to do it properly, which I do want to do, I'm not ruling it out.
Yeah.
It's just like it will take a lot of dedication and time. But I would want to get to the point where like I could do archery from the horse.
Yeah. That would be
sick.
a dream.
That would,
yeah.
That would be a dream. That would be a dream. And I was asking the instructor, like how much it would cost to buy the horse, just out of curiosity, and it was cheaper than I thought it would be. It's only his horse was worth millions because it was like a race horse. Okay. My one was only was like £4,000, which I thought was actually I thought I was going to be way more expensive.
That's a cheap car, isn't it?
Yeah. So
what about the upkeep?
I can see the appeal of that work.
I can imagine they eat a lot.
That's why I asked him next. I was like, okay, that doesn't sound too bad, but the upkeep must be mad. He said it'll be about 2,500 dirham a month, so about £500 a month. Which again, it's not really cheap, but for a horse, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah, it's I would say it's a medium luxury kind of hobby. It's not like a blowing up yachts for fun kind of hobby, is it?
But vibe, it's not. But that's the kind of vibe that I got. I thought it would be like a yacht level. Like, oh no, you need like $6,000 a month just to get his food and stuff like that. But what is surprisingly affordable.
Yes.
That would be nice. The dream would be owning a horse, owning my own bow and arrow set, whatever it's called, and just like Fajr time, you go out with the horse, just shoot a few arrows, head back. That'd be nice. But we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, I'll take it step by step. But like for now, I think I like the sound of like being able to ride a horse like I can ride a car.
Yeah.
Like I can't race a car, I can't like drift or whatever, but I can ride. So that's the first stage.
That's what I mean. I reckon 10 lessons and I think you'll feel comfortable.
Inshallah, bro. That's like,
inshallah.
What is that? A month or two away, inshallah. So I hope so. And then there's archery. I haven't done archery. No, I haven't done it at all since I've been here. I've been shooting range maybe 3-4 times. Again, that's something that has levels to it. I couldn't. It's one of those things like I've been like 3-4 times, and we had the targets and stuff. So I wasn't just shooting randomly for fun kind of thing. But I don't know. I don't even know if I'm good or rubbish. I have no idea. That kind of thing.
You know from the targets, right? You're hitting the targets and stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know what the expectation is in terms of, okay, if you're a beginner and you're decent, you'll get this many in this realm. I don't even know how points work. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's a real. That's a again something you can master and you can like use. Guns that are extremely difficult to handle, extremely heavy, that kind of thing. But it sounds like you're hitting targets and stuff. You try to imagine it's like intermediate level. If you pick up a gun to hit a target that's like 50 meters away, I'd say you're pretty good.
Do you say 50 or 15?
50.
Oh, that's far. I think
Is that tough?
I think I did. I think I did 15. The most. So I started with 10 and then I did 15.
Right.
15 was like felt like something I could work on for a little while before going further. Like 50 with a handgun. That.
I guess you're right. I guess 50 is a long way, actually. Yeah, it is a long way. So I'll revise that to 25 meters. If you hit 25 meters and hit, I'm not saying like bullseye, but if you hit a target 25 meters, I'd say you're pretty good.
Yeah, that's another thing, I could do lessons on, but I guess one thing at a time. That's more, is it more expensive? I guess it is more expensive. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I imagine it would be.
How much is the horse
riding? I'm just trying to get, horse riding was, I don't remember how much horse riding was. Weekdays it's 150 dirham per hour. So £30 an hour.
£30 an hour. And that's like whether it's a lesson or just riding or.
Yeah, I think so. You could, because I think it's the same guy, but it's just like, it'll be like a different setup. If you want like a lesson, I think the same guy will do it, but it's just a different like vibe basically. But I think so, yeah. But weekend is 250, I think. At this ticket, but it's different stables. That was when I went to.
Yeah.
Some of the stables are cheaper, I think.
Yeah.
If you go to Sharjah, I imagine it's like cheaper up there.
So you're gonna get started with it or what?
I don't know, man. I want to do that archery. So we've got a group of brothers, right, who are just tasting different things right now. So we did that. We liked it. Next, we're gonna try archery and see, like, because you've got to stick to one thing.
Yeah.
If you're gonna try and master it, you got to stick to one thing. So archery is next on the list. I've got a feeling that I may do archery and try and do that first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we'll see. I'll see how that goes. Right now, I'm just trying to get back into football as well, so I want to like keep that going.
Yeah,
because I just need to do some sort of exercise regularly, and football for me is like it doesn't even feel like exercise. So I just start that, and then I think archery might be my thing. I just haven't tried it yet.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. I actually wanted to call this. I don't think it's going in that direction, but I wanted to call this episode "Kaya's Dubai Lifestyle." Okay.
Okay.
So what do? You live in Dubai. Dubai is different from UK and places where the audience might live. What would you say you do other than working and taking care of the kids? And like, what do you do? Activities wise, hobbies wise, going out wise.
Yeah. So again, bear in mind, 2 kids.
Two kids. Give it up on life at this point.
Yeah. One of them is very young. So when it comes to hobbies and going out, not much right now. But when I do, again, these kind of things. So I'll try and give you the answer you're looking for here, which is that these kind of things are available to me. I've got a horse. The one I went to, the horse stable, was a bit further in the desert, but there's horse stables that down the road, like less than 15-minute drive from me, 2 or 3 of them. I could do scuba diving. I could do fishing. Which another thing I want to do is fishing, by the way. Camping again, the desert is like right there. Shooting ranges. So these are the kind of things I want to be doing, but I just don't currently have the time to be doing them. Right, what I have been doing now, which for some people may not sound exciting, but it's something that I never really used to do. And I'm just trying to like network more. There's a lot of brothers here who are starting businesses and side hustles and things like this. And I'm trying to get involved in those and just like try to learn different things. Because that kind of is still work. So like, it doesn't require me to sort of like take 3 hours away from the home and go somewhere and do something and come back. So I'm trying to lean into that.
So you're saying in
terms of lifestyle,
you take that out of like work hours basically to do that. It's not like extra work.
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of like just like what I do in the summers, you spend more time in the malls. So like I was saying to you before, we hit the record button. I'll take my daughter to I'll give you my day, my usual day. Take my daughter to nursery. Near the nursery is a very nice mall that I like. So I drop her there. I go there. I go to one coffee shop that I like to become my regular. Sit down. I'll do my work for like 4 or 5 hours. I'll go pick her up. And then after that, we may do the grocery shop if we need it. Then we may come home and go out with the family to go do something else, whatever we need to do. In the wintertime, at these times, more outdoorsy stuff, picnics, go down to the beach. Not necessarily even swim at the beach, but just like go down to like just see let the kids play in the sand a little bit, see the sun and the sea.
What beach do you like?
There's a couple. There's one called Jumeirah Beach Park, which has got like a little playground for the kids, like on the beach. That's quite nice. And it's like the other one that I like to go to, the unmarked ones. So again, not the touristy ones. They're like they're there, but they're not named anything.
What
it's
side
just
of
beach.
Dubai is that? Like?
There's a couple. So you know where Kite Beach is?
Yeah.
Where Salt is, Salt Kite Beach. On either side of that, there's like those areas where it's like it's not really marked as anything, so it's not very that particular section is very popular. Yeah. And that whole strip, you'll find like 3 or 4 of those areas where it's like there's nothing there. It's just a beach, and that's nice. So you go down there, and there's not any sort of big crowds or anything like that. So yeah, that's nice to do. Yeah, parks, that kind of thing. It's just like in the winter it's more outdoorsy, in the summer it's more indoorsy. But alhamdulillah, yes, I guess that's what I do. And when it does sort of suit, we'll again do like a drive to Fujairah, or do like a little staycation maybe. Yeah.
Nice.
basically.
Have you been traveling a lot? Because I realized, like I said, the last couple years, I've probably been traveling 5 times a year, which is a lot. Like when I was normally I was traveling once a year, I would say, right? And now I was doing 5 times a year, but it's mostly I was visiting family and stuff, and they couldn't come to me, so I was just going to them, and it was like every 3 months, so that's 4 straight away, and then an extra one, whatever. I don't want to always be doing that, but yeah, have you been? Because obviously now you're not living with family, so naturally you're going to travel more, right?
Yeah, so I mean, traveling more in the sense of like visiting family, like once or twice a year, visiting London for that.
Yeah.
But no real travel for like
holiday travel,
leisure holiday travel other than the staycation. So we try like fit in a staycation here or there, because it's like just with kids it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been doing much traveling at all.
Well, you sound like me.
I would just go to London.
You know, you know, when I was in Umrah just now, I met Muhammad. You know, Egyptian Muhammad, remember? Yeah. So he was there same time as me. So I met him. It's like I met him in a cafe. I sat down and his kids were with him, and then he had to take them toilet. He comes back half an hour later.
Yeah.
He's like, he just sat down and he looked at me. He's like, having kids is long.
Yeah. So true. Alhamdulillah, man.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. But yeah, this is it. When you have kids, there's no 2 ways about it. Like you ask me what my lifestyle is like, it just depends what's happening that day.
Yeah.
Sometimes the plan will be to go, okay, we need something from the mall, let's go to the mall. But you get there and like one kid needs to go to the toilet, the nappy needs to be changed. And it's like, done that, cool. The other kid needs to go. And then something else happens. It's like, man, we've been here an hour, we're just in the toilets.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that teaches you
when
patience,
you got kids, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, I'm still learning it, bro. Yeah. But yeah, this is it. I mean, your lifestyle, I think from my experience, first few years of the kids' lives is like it's got to be based around them.
Yeah,
it's got to be based around them. If you're doing it, trying to keep yourself involved in their lives as much as possible, it's got to be based around them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I tell myself. Like right now, this isn't going to be forever.
This is the
You're not going to have young
phase,
kids forever. It's a phase, and so these things that I want to do, the horse riding, the archery, I'm tasting them now, but I know I probably won't be able to properly dedicate time for a couple more years yet, where I can actually say, okay, I've got actual hours in a day free to do that.
Yeah.
But that's just part of life, bro. Like life is different phases.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And this is one of them.
Exactly.
And we shouldn't rush them. Like even though this is advice to myself, we shouldn't rush them because once it's over, you'll miss it. And again, you won't have young kids forever. You'll miss it anyway. Can't go back to that. I mean, I'm trying to embrace it as much as possible.
Some of my friends, they have kids, maybe they're 7, 8 years old, and they're like, "Oh, how old is your son? Oh, yeah, that's the best time. Yeah. Everyone tells you that that's the best time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you were hoping I was like, I get so much easier after 6 years old. Like, they never, for some reason, they never say that.
I mean, I think it just gets different, isn't it? It just gets different. But yeah, it's good to see it in phases. Otherwise, it's a bit tough, Yani. And obviously, it's tough on mothers a lot of the time, more than for us.
Yeah.
But I see it. Yeah. Some like fathers, Yani, they might not have the compromises we have. It's a choice, basically, right? I could say, because like I said, you realize you can't do much with your family. So then either you don't do much, but you stay with the family, or you kind of do a lot of stuff on your own or with friends. And some people do that. Obviously not our choice per se, but like, some people do end up doing that. So that's like the choice that you make. But these years are essential, isn't it? These years are essential in their character, their moral compass, these kind of things,
100%.
What they consider to be normal and not normal and all that. So it's fully worth it, man.
Yeah. There's studies on this, so we won't go into it because I don't know them, but there's studies on like those first few years, like a lot happens psychologically in a child and you can't really undo it. Even later on, if you say, okay, from 10 years old to 15, I'll be heavily involved. It's like a lot of that stuff is like, it was malleable at 3-4 years old, it was malleable, but at 10 years old, it's like, it's set in stone almost at that point. So they're important years, and you can strike a balance, sometimes, where one night a week is set aside for activities. But yeah, this is like you have to see it as a phase. So because sometimes it's easy to look back and think, okay, before kids or before marriage, I had X amount of time, and that it'll be nice to get that again. But we see things in phases, and you can see. I don't say light at the end of the tunnel, if it's some sort of tunnel, but you can see like there'll be another phase in like 5 years' time where new opportunities, a new lifestyle will be available to me. And inshallah, may Allah give us long life full of good deeds and tawheed. But that makes you feel like, okay, I may as well just enjoy this then, because it won't be forever.
Yeah. And it's like, sometimes if I play that out in my head, it's like, well, you're not going to not have kids, are you? Right? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So since you do have kids, okay, you got this phase, like use this phase, take advantage of the phase, do your best in this phase. And yeah, but I would say like our eldest are like the same age pretty much, right? I think age 4-ish, it does change quite a bit. Like it does get easier, I would say. Like in the sense
That's
of
true.
In the sense of, for example, being able to actually take them somewhere and it's actually worth it for them and they actually benefit from it. Actually, you know what I mean? And it's not like you said, spending half an hour on nappies or whatever, right?
Yeah, so, it's true.
So you just got to wait till they're all 4 or older. And every time you have a new one, then it just resets the clock. But yeah.
Nah, you're right. And I noticed it around 4 as well. That sort of switch was like, okay, I can take her out, especially if it's one-on-one. I don't know if you notice this, but if it's both parents, they tend to act up more, especially the older one. But if it's just one, it just seems like a lot more smooth, you know, like they're not trying to like push boundaries and things like that. It's just more like, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. And they seem more excited to be out with you. I noticed that. And yeah.
I think you've done that a lot more than me, actually, like the one-on-one stuff. In my head, I'm like, it's everyone or no one. But I think I need to start just taking Suleiman out, just me and him. That's actually very doable. Like we can actually do a lot of different stuff. It's the younger one that makes things quite tricky. So I'll do that more, inshallah. Actually, that'll be good.
Yeah, I think he'll enjoy it. And I suppose once another one comes along, you kind of will be forced into it, especially in the early stages where it's like, okay, baby needs to sleep and feed and so on and so forth. It's just like you have to take the other kids. Inshallah, it'll be easy if you just take them somewhere and like they'll enjoy it and not like push a button too much.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, it is a blessing, man. To be honest, it is.
Of course,
a lot of people
struggle
having kids. They really want kids. And then you got like 2 kids, 3 kids.
Alhamdulillah, it's a massive blessing, man. A massive. We shouldn't, belittle it or be ungrateful for it anyway, because Allah's blessings upon us are innumerable, and children is a very, very obvious one that we should be very grateful for. I 100% agree.
And all this stuff is not bad. It's just you have to adapt. You have to shift kind of your expectations or your focus and these kind of things, isn't it? Really. Yeah.
100%. 100%. Life changes, man. You got to change with it. And like most things in life, like even again, you have to start a business or start a new job, there's that adaptation period or adaptation. It could be a long period where it's like you got to struggle a little bit to get to the end or to get see the fruit of that. So it's not really different in that sense. You just got to adapt and give it time and alhamdulillah. I want to know your lifestyle, bro. Turkey lifestyle, because you've been there how long now? Same amount of time, right? 3.5 years.
No, I want to say 3 years. Actually, no, it's exactly 3 years, pretty much. Yeah, exactly 3 years.
Alhamdulillah.
Still don't speak Turkish.
So what? I and my Arabic still isn't where it should be.
Actually, yes, I will talk about that, but I'm gonna forget the Arabic thing. I will talk about the thing, your question. Yeah. But before I forget, because you were doing Arabic lessons a few months ago. I can't remember when you told me that. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, it's not on that.
How long did you go for?
I have to restart that. No, what I was doing is I signed up for a program, an online program. I'm still signed up for, but again, time-wise, I haven't given it enough time. and I was doing that, and I went to that, and I was doing Duolingo. I went through doing Duolingo very, very consistently.
Yeah.
But even now I've dropped off. But my new plan is to use a website called Preply,
Yes.
to get somebody to actually coach me like
100%.
once a week. Actually have an hour to actually talk to them. But yeah, that's my plan. So I'll keep me accountable, inshallah, because I need someone to keep me
like the
accountable.
Preply thing, I think that's similar to italki, because that's what I used for Turkish.
Yeah, same concept.
So that's the best, bro, because just having someone there waiting for you at a certain time, it's gonna force you. If you do, I don't know, how many
Exactly.
sessions are you thinking? Like a couple a week or what?
Probably like 1 or 2 a week, I'd say.
Yeah. So some people, bro, they just smash you. Like I was telling my friends, like, yeah, I'm gonna start on this Turkish thing. They're like, oh yeah, how many like sessions do you think? I was like, yeah, like 2 a week. They're like, you're gonna make no progress like that. I'm like, oh, halas, I give up already.
Yeah. I'll come back to you with that, because I'm going to probably start with 2 a week, and then I'll see how I go. But again, I'm optimistic with these kind of things. Like I feel like 2 hours, if it's an hour each, 2 hours a week is a lot. And if you're not coming into it totally blind, like if I was going to learn like Mandarin, then fine, 2 hours a week not enough. But I do know some Arabic, and I do recognize Arabic, and it won't be totally alien to me.
Yeah.
So I think 2 hours a week would make a big difference. So
yeah, and I actually
see,
think 2 hours. I guess they'll give you homework as well. So if you do 2 hours plus the homework, and you're just consistent, you're definitely gonna. And then eventually, Annie, maybe when you feel more comfortable, you can start trying to use it, since you live in a country where people use it.
Sometimes what will happen is I'll be out and about, and I wear phones as well quite a lot, and people will just start talking to me in Arabic.
Yeah.
And I'll get one sentence in English, and I gotta say, I don't really know Arabic. So it's humbling experience.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So what about I want to hear your lifestyle. So I gave you a glimpse into my lifestyle.
Yeah.
What's the Turkish lifestyle looking like these days?
The Turkish lifestyle. I think, some people, they come to Turkey and they might go somewhere like Antalya, Fethiye, or like just a normal place, like a more normal place. I don't live in a normal place, so my thing is
they're touristy places, aren't they?
Those ones I mentioned are touristy, but even like Bursa, what I mean by normal is it's everyone there is Turkish. Okay, so I don't really live in that kind of thing, and I also say that because I don't leave my area, my neighborhood much. But I guess that's partly because alhamdulillah is very convenient. So what do I do here? I've got my office where I am. I come here to work every day. My apartment is, I guess if I'm walking, it's about 10 minutes. Scooter, it's like 3-4 minutes. I've got the masjid. The masjid's 1-2 minutes away. And so these are like, I go between these three things,
I think this is something interesting. Like when people listen to someone who's like moved to a country or made hijrah some way, shape or form, they think like, oh, you've moved to that city, you must be at like
Blue Mosque.
Cafes.
The Blue Mosque is out my window.
But really what happens is, the realistic version is, you find a nice, you're trying to raise a family at the end of the day, not like a bachelor who's like, living a high life like that. You find a nice neighborhood, usually on the outskirts, and yes, you love the city and you love the fact that it's right there, but you're going to get into a routine. Okay, my masjid's here, my supermarket's over there, my horse riding place is down the road, and my office is over there, and you just cycle through it. And that's generally habit. Just like most people living in any part of the world, that's what happens. You'll get into a routine. And just the benefit is the routine, again, compared to like the Western city, is just nicer routine, more Islamic routine. There's masajid everywhere, things like this. And that's the benefit. It's not like we live in an alien lifestyle where it's like, weird and wonderful things happening on a daily basis. It's just like, we're just living in a more.
I mean, I guess there are some
environment,
different things I could do, but I don't end up doing it. Like there's market, for example. There's market Monday, Friday. There's market.
Okay.
It's about.
That sounds nice.
It's like, I guess 10 minutes on the scooter. I never go there, bro. Basically the market? People say it's a bit cheaper over there, but the supermarket near me they match the prices of the market on market days.
Yeah.
So I just shop on market days.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, again, I do
Smart.
my shopping partly online, partly here. Remember Gibsons? Do you still use Gibsons?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we don't. Oh, actually, every now and again we do.
Yeah.
Every now and again.
Okay. Do you do any
Yeah.
online, like grocery shopping, or no?
Usually, so now we do most of our stuff at Lulu's. You know Lulu's? Sick. Go Lulu's all the time. We got Lulu's close to us.
Okay.
Their prices are brilliant. But if we do need something in like more urgently, we'll use Talabat. Talabat got a 20-minute delivery thing, and the prices are pretty good. So we use that usually.
Okay, so you use those two. Yeah, so I go shopping here. What else do I do? I mean, the airport is close, so like I'm traveling quite a bit, or I pick up visitors or whatever. So I might go there sometimes. I might rent a car, pop over there. Something you need to know about me is in Turkey, I don't touch taxis. I hate taxis. I mean, most people in Istanbul, they hate taxis, but I resist it more than average. So I would rent a car rather than get a cab to the airport.
Okay.
What else? Sometimes when I have guests, I guess I might take them to, that kind of area, Sultan Ahmed kind of area. Or, on the Asian side, there's that Çamlıca Kulesi.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I haven't been there, but I've seen pictures. Beautiful.
Kind of new, isn't it? So I take them up there sometimes. That's pretty good. It's a bit different. And there's the masjid there, Çamlıca Jami as well. That's a huge masjid. Sometimes we venture over there, Yani. Sometimes, bro, to be honest, like, those ferries that go between the different sides, bro, I like that. My kids like that. My wife like that. Sometimes we just jump on that, like that's something.
That's nice, yeah. My wife loves that. We go to the Büyük Ada, right? The big island. We do that. My wife loves doing that. So whenever we go there, we usually do that. It's lovely. You get to see the whole city.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Exactly, yeah.
To see why, and you get the balık ekmek, the fish and bread when you get off, or just where you get on.
Yes.
That's standard.
Yes, yeah.
That's a lovely day out, man. Eminönü,
exactly.
Fish and bread, jump on that's a lovely day out. So yeah, that's nice.
A new thing since when were you last here? Like 2018 or 2019?
Yeah, I think maybe even before 2017, maybe.
Okay, so
yeah.
So Eminönü, the Golden Horn, basically, right? That whole way till Eyüp, and then even beyond that. There's a tram following that whole path now.
Oh, that's
so. That's actually even that is a nice trip because you're seeing the sea the whole time, and there's a lot of parks along that as well. So even just going Eyüp area and then go to near the sea, there's parks there. That's nice.
That does sound nice. I like that whole area. Is one of my favorite area.
I go to these areas one-off, now and then. And then, 10, 15 minutes drive. I've got the place where the horse riding is. We got paintball over there. We've got shooting is also 10 minutes, but it's another place. And then there's like a woods kind of area where you could do barbecue, whatever. I don't know if there's any other areas really. There is Mall of Istanbul, which I might go to if I need more. I really hate the mall, but sometimes you need to go there for something.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you hate it?
19 years of UAE, I mean, halal.
But
that area, the mall area is full overload.
Yeah, I hear you. But even me, I'm 3.5 years in, I still like a good mall trip. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna.
Maybe when you reach 13, you're gonna maybe check.
Yeah, I'll check back in with you then.
Yeah.
But the market sounds nice. So it's like a farmer's market. They're just like local produce, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all fruit and veg is local, except the only thing I could say that's imported is bananas, I guess. Everything else is local. That's the crazy thing that's still crazy now, thinking about it, is that everything in the supermarket is Turkish.
That is nice.
Crazy.
One thing you might be surprised at though, like the hydroponic thing is gone off here. The supermarket's got a lot of local produce now, and it's good. So when you come out, I'll do a little platter of tomatoes for you. Yeah, because they're great lots of stuff here now, and it's cheap and organic and it's good. But yeah, I think one thing that appeals to me about Turkey is having at one point a little bit of farmland, right? A little allotment, growing my own stuff.
Yeah.
Having what's it called, beehives, honeybees. That would be sick.
I heard your recent episode. I know what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you know me too well, man. So that would be nice.
Bro,
that would be one thing that I'd like.
That's true. It's very doable here. You know, that's very doable here. I mean, even sometimes when you're looking for land, they'll kind of market it or frame it as, they call it like a hobby bache. You know. It's like a smaller, smaller area, and you can grow stuff on there. You can like put cabins, like certain, I think if there's no foundations or something, then you don't need permission. You build on there, and Turkey, there's like unlimited land. There's
how much they charge as hobby budget? What's the charge?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but it's all per square meter. But I guess you can get stuff for, maybe you could even find for like 20k pounds or something. I'm not sure, but it's not small. It's not tiny, honey, but.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine it's big.
I was looking back in the day. I told you about this for doing like the whole Airbnb cabins or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think what kind of square meter were we talking about? Maybe it was like 1,000 square meters maybe, and we were talking about, was it like 100k pounds or something? But
you were gonna buy an apartment there, right? Not like the land.
Well, if I was going down that cabin route and like Airbnb and glamping kind of thing,
right?
Then I was thinking, you get like 1,000 square meters. I think it can fit maybe 4 cabins and this and that. So it's a bit complicated, but that's what I was thinking. That kind of stuff is doable. The price is maybe different now. I'm not sure, but there's loads of land here.
That is a good idea, though. Yeah, that is a good idea, especially like where you are. It's like the airport's quite near. You got the forest. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, no, near me, that's no go. I think that's like too expensive. Because remember, near me, that whole canal project is underway.
Oh yeah.
So that's like everyone's buying it and they're holding it for like until it they develop it, So
okay.
Yeah.
Smart.
But yeah, bro, like bees and all that is good. But I'll tell you something, bro. I'm disappointed about something in Turkey, which is the tomatoes. Not amazing. Not Mediterranean level that I expect.
I remember this when I was first moving to UAE. You were complaining about tomatoes. It's always stuck in my head for some reason. That's why I said earlier, I'll make you a platter of tomatoes.
That's why
you're a hard man to please when it comes to tomatoes. Man.
Yeah. I actually don't even like tomatoes, but sometimes they're so sick that I have to give it to them.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
But usually it's the little plum ones that are sick in there. Yeah. I've never really had a big tomato. This is amazing. It's usually the plum ones that are great.
Believe it or not, bro, I haven't had this much. Okay?
Or cherry, what they call.
But there are some places, or where you can get a tomato, like a big tomato, and you will bite it, and it'll be like. You'll be like, damn, this really is a fruit. It'll be like that sweet,
Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah.
But I've not run into that much. But in Algeria, sometimes you find that level of tomato. I've not found it here.
Okay, that's it. It's Algerian propaganda. That's
it is in the end. Like
the Algerian big tomato in Algeria is paying you. Just 8 minutes into this episode, it's finally come to surface. Talking about young topics, like, oh yeah, the tomatoes in Nigeria as well as that guy.
Tomato lobby.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing though, like tomatoes, like I told you, I'm not even that into it, so I haven't been looking for it. But olive oil, I've been looking for it. I've been looking for good olive oil, and I have not found it.
In Turkey?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
That is surprising.
Again, maybe like. My standard is too high. I don't know. Maybe,
but you should. I mean, again, they should have good. Olive oil. Tomatoes, I can see you have maybe a bit hit and miss, but like the olive oil should be on point.
I'm very surprised. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
maybe there's like certain areas where you got to buy it for like regions in Turkey. There's like they got the good stuff there.
It's possible, bro. No, well, the region of olive oil is what do they call that region? The southwest, like Izmir area. What's that region called? I can't remember. But anyway, that area is the one basically for it. So my neighbor firstly, it's my neighbor. When you get something off your neighbor and you like do cash in hand, you know it should be good, right? So I got from him, and he's Turkish, and he said, this is from my father's farm, and the farm is down there near Izmir. And it was like, it was a bit better than the supermarket one, but I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for something which is very specific. I'm not sure. Anyway, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
It's a very tiny detail of life here.
I think what you're looking for. You tell me before you left the UAE, you fell into the Spinneys lifestyle. To be honest, right? You're a Spinneys guy. You're probably going to see the extra virgin olive oil aisle and paying like 70 dirham for like 200 milliliters.
Wow.
I think you've gone for like. I think you got used to the really good stuff.
Well, in UAE, you can actually buy good olive oil, Spanish olive oil, for example. They have some good Spanish.
You like Spanish? I've never really. I've always been like more Italian. Palestinian's great. I've never had good Spanish olive oil actually.
Really? But it is expensive. You know, if you want to get the good stuff, that's what I found.
Yeah.
I never used to buy it.
Yeah.
When I left UAE, I was like, I feel like I was pretty broke at that time. I feel I was not buying that.
Yeah, you're in Spinneys every now and again. That's what I'm saying.
Every now and again, yeah. For Eid, I guess, Spinny.
Yeah.
What about you in terms of like your, how do you say it? Your phases in business, right? Because when you went UAE, you had that one business, your content CMS business agency.
Yeah.
I don't really know where you've gone with that. You're a bit opaque with it. I mean, I never really asked you anyway, but have you like grown that a lot? You've kept it consistent?
Alhamdulillah, it's still there. It's consistent. Alhamdulillah, still going. But yeah, you're right. Definitely last year and a half or so. And again, it coincides with what I was saying earlier, which is like, when I was in London, I was very much like introverted. I was in my room doing work, and like, I don't really have a big circle of friends, quite frankly, or even I would call it a circle. I just had like a couple of friends. When I came out here, I remember you saying to me as well, like, you know, finding brothers is difficult, or a community of brothers who are actually going to stay here long term. And at that time, that didn't really bother me, because me personally, I was like, I don't really have that anyway. So if I don't find it, I don't find it. But alhamdulillah, mashallah, so when I moved out here, I did just like get introduced to other brothers through you first and foremost. I met most people because you introduced me to certain brothers. Yeah, alhamdulillah, I just like started to discover that, okay, this brother's doing this brother's doing that. I met other brothers through them who are doing interesting projects, and so for the first time I sort of stopped just doing that one business only, and you know, made time for other projects basically. So alhamdulillah, I'm involved in a couple of projects now. So yeah, I guess there's a phase change of just focusing on one to like focusing like two or three.
Yeah.
And I think it was time for that, right? Because I had been focusing on one for 5 years, 6 years maybe. And although that was enjoyable, I definitely started to feel the itch of like, okay, I'd like to do this other thing in that industry. So I'm trying to scratch that itch without, you know, taking the foot off the gas of the original company.
And I guess you hire enough good people where you can do that in it for the first one.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, and that took time as well to do that, because it's not, as you know as well, it's not as easy as just hiring somebody. It takes time. But yeah, I definitely feel like I needed some change of scenery, change of like goals, and just different industries. Right, I was doing content for so long, and I still like doing content. But after like 5-6 years, you feel like, okay, what if I just do something totally different? Just like see if I can. So I'm enjoying that. I'm just enjoying like seeing if I can do other stuff.
Yeah. So what is that? So is it like the Wasia stuff? That's one I know that you're doing.
Yeah. The Wasia thing is probably like is the biggest other project that I have.
Yeah.
And so quick intro to that is basically I met a brother out here, French Algerian brother, I believe. Basically in Dubai in the real estate market. So Wasia is a real estate brokerage. Developers out here, they'll launch a building and say, we're building this apartment block. It's going to be ready in 3 years' time, but we're going to give you a 6-year payment plan, right? And that payment plan is fine, nothing wrong with it. But there's late payment fees in the contract, and it falls on the river, right? It falls on the interest. There's late payment fees. Everything else in the contract is usually fine. This brother, he approaches developers and he said, look, we've got lots of brothers in France. He's French Algerian who want to buy, but that clause is stopping them. Here's a new contract, and he managed to get them on board, which I know from personal experience is no easy thing to do on Homberg. And yeah, he signed a few, and he wanted to launch in the English-speaking world. So yeah, I joined that sort of team to help them do that and expand into that world. And anybody who watched like our previous episodes, like from 3.5 years ago, Hydra was like always something I was being quite passionate about, and like not just for myself but for others.
Yeah.
And it kind of fit that, where it was like, okay, this is like a permissible way for Muslims in the West to have a route towards investing in living in the UAE and other Muslim countries too. So yeah, I kind of jumped at that when I came across my desk type of thing. I jumped on it because it fit a lot of things, ticked a lot of boxes. So that's like
came across my desk, big boy, yeah.
Oh well,
Your secretary just put it on the desk. One of many.
Yeah, in reality, when I say come across my desk, it was like someone sent me a voice note on WhatsApp. Yeah,
and actually, that suits you exactly. Like that's a crazy fit, because I remember when you bought your apartment in Dubai, you had to do that same thing, and it was like, can you remove this from the contract?
Yeah, and it's not easy to do it, and they unless you're willing to like do extra stuff basically, or put down a bit more money for the deposit, they're not willing to do it usually. So that's why when his brother said, hey, I've managed to get them to agree to it without the purchase having to put down more of a deposit, that was like, a big green flag for me, because like, it just opens up a big opportunity for people who can invest but they don't have they can't buy outright, but if it's split over 6, 7, 8 years, then that's very doable. So yeah, alhamdulillah, I got involved. I'm still involved, and we're trying to grow that.
So maybe for those listening, right? So what I gather is, I feel like a lot of the properties are about 150k pounds ish, average, Ali.
Depends. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Sometimes they're a bit cheaper than that, but I'd say that's
like
about average.
Yeah. And then a down payment is 20% on average, or?
On average, yeah, between like 20-25% usually.
And then spread over how many years on average? 5, 3?
Again, on average, between 5 and 8 is like it depends on which developer it is, but usually 5 to 8.
Okay, So let me think about this. Let's say it's 150k. I'm putting 20% down. That's 30k, and then I'm paying it over 6 years. 120k. Over 6. Do you know 6 years in months? Do you know what that is?
I can do a quick calculator job. Hold on. 6 years in months. Yeah. So what? What would that be?
6 times 12
times 6, I guess.
Oh no,
72.
Yeah, should have known that.
Yeah, 72.
I'm not good at math.
Yeah, okay. You think so, but yeah.
No wait.
Yeah, I'm not doing math either. I don't do public math.
1, 2,
72.
Let me divide it by that. So I'm paying basically like £1,700 a month, and 150k. Would that get me 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom, or I guess it depends on the.
It can get you 1 bedrooms. It can, not 2 bedrooms. Not 2 bedrooms. It'll get you 1 bedroom in some projects. But there's some projects where it's like the studios starting from like 110,000, for example, 110, 120,000 for a studio. But one thing to note in there is like we're working out over 6 years, but you get the keys like somewhere like year 3 or 4. So in the final 3 years of payment plan, you're renting it out potentially and collecting rent, which helps pay off. So you never actually, at the end of the 6 years, you haven't actually paid 150, or if you have, you've collected money through it as well. So the net spend on it is not that.
Right.
So that's part of the attraction.
My outlay might be half of it, maybe.
Depends on the project, the location. I'd say like maybe 67%, 60% of it, like something like that.
Okay. And most people that you know of, like, are they buying these to live in or to rent out?
Most are doing it to. Good question, actually. It could be like an even split. A lot of them say it's to rent out, because some of them want to, what they want to do is they want to move here. This is their route to a visa and some quote unquote passive income, right? So they'll buy a studio, but they've got a family, so they're going to live in the studio, at least not a long term. But they're doing it so you get some. If they spend a certain amount of money, they get them a renewable visa that's not linked to any employment,
Right.
And it gives them income.
How much do you have to spend for that?
Yeah. For a 2-year visa, investor visa, which is renewable as long as you keep the property, you have to spend 750,000 dirham,
Okay.
which is I think it's like 160,000 pounds. So just
Is that right? Yeah.
double check that. Yeah, it's not that much, and that gets you. I don't know, where is it?
Like what?
150. Yeah, I mean for an apartment,
Yeah.
it's not that much, right? So that it's 160,000 pounds. And a couple of days ago, we did like a comparison of like 180,000 pounds what it buys you in London and Dubai. It's like, you know, worlds apart. You know, you're living on top of off license versus like a nice story with a gym and stuff. So
I remember, bro,
160,000 pounds.
when I was living in North London.
Yeah.
Yeah. My area was, I think it was considered like a pretty bad area. And I think the 2 bedrooms there maybe was like 350k, 400k.
Sound about right.
Yeah.
Sound about right. And here now get you like it's still 3 bedroom, but it's like 3/4 bedroom because you get the maid room and stuff. And it's like in a very nice, like, you're in a gate community,
Yeah.
you've got pools and gyms and all the amenities. So you definitely, your money goes a lot further here.
Yeah.
But yeah, 160,000 pounds, that gives you a 2-year visa.
Yes.
And it's renewable. So as long as you don't sell that property,
Yeah.
every 2 years you just renew it based on
That's
that.
actually like
And if you spend
Turkey,
2 million, 10 years. Similar.
I never actually, I guess I didn't know about the Dubai one that much. I think when I was living there, they didn't have, maybe the property, the
No, it's
threshold was a
recent.
bit higher or something.
I think originally it was 1 million, it's coming up 750.
Okay, there you go. So
Yeah.
now in Turkey, to get I guess you could call it an investor visa, you need to spend $200,000, which is maybe 170k pound, right?
Okay.
So-
yeah. About the same.
But there's not, to be honest, it's not as clear as UAE. Like, there's always that feeling that, oh, you didn't do the paperwork right, so it's rejected. Now you spend 160k or whatever, and it's like,
You did it in red pen or blue pen.
voila, you know it from what you just said. You know what I'm talking about. So it's not as clear over here, but that is actually the threshold amount is $200k, and there are also areas though where you can't buy in certain areas and get that. Basically, it's a certain area, a bit like any area. The way they've done it is, if an area has 25% or more of the people living there foreigners, then you can't do it there. That's kind of how they do it.
I see.
So
I see.
trying to, I don't know, deal with this foreigner issue that they have. Turkey's very new with this foreigner stuff, I think. Someone told me,
Yeah.
a Syrian guy that came here, you know, after the war and everything kicked off, I think he came 2012. He said that there was no immigration department in Turkey until, I want to say, he said it was 2010. There was no immigration. Before that, if you come as a
That's
foreigner,
surprising.
you would go to the police station and they would be like, so that's why, maybe that explains why they see foreigners in a certain way.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
I hear it's surprising because like there has historically been a lot of like expats who go to retire there. I think, like Russians and English people like they'll buy an Izmir villa and just chill there. So I'm surprised at that, but I guess
You're right, actually. Yeah,
makes
like
sense.
how did because there's always been a lot of I guess Russians and Brits and stuff that are moving here to live. I'm not sure how that worked for them, but yeah. So they're still very new to it, and I guess they don't have that feeling. Like UAE, it's like, we need foreigners, we want foreigners. It's all about this country runs on foreigners. Turkey is like, wait, why do we need you? So that's very different thing. But
yeah,
that's interesting, bro, about the property. Yeah, do you think UAE is the market's at its peak in terms of the property market, or not yet? Or?
I first and foremost, I don't pretend to know, right? It's one thing because we get messages like, oh, what will the rent be like on this property in 3 years' time? It's like, bro, I'm not getting like, I'm not. We're not that kind of brokerage. Like, oh, it'll be definitely like. It's like we can't know what's going to happen in 3 years' time. So, and similarly, I can't know what's going to happen with like the
market
stealing of the market, this and that. But for sure, it's booming. That's all I'll say. It's booming right now. And like any other city, it will have its peaks and troughs. So it seems like we're definitely on the way towards the peak. Are we there? Are we going to be there in 3 months, 6 months? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. And quite frankly, you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's not a good. What I say is, it's not a good thing to try and time the market in that sort of small window. Okay. It's like if you're going to invest in property, you have to be like thinking 10, 20 years window. Like, do you think this location on Earth is going to be a net positive over 10, 20 years in terms of like appreciation and growth? Then you should buy it. If you're like, oh, I want to be able to flip it in 3 years, it's always risky. No matter whether you're in London, Istanbul, Dubai, it's just you can't time it like that. And too many things have happened. COVID happened, and that messed up everybody's cycle. So if you're looking 10, 20 years, it's a good place to invest, man. I think
this is what you got to tell when you're in the business of, helping people invest. You got to tell them, expect the money's going to zero. It's going to zero. Just expect that.
My defense is I'll say some of the stuff like 3 years ago, and Mindhive podcast will attest to it on that recording when I was like saying similar things. So I wouldn't have got involved if it was just a case of like, let me just sell some property and make some money on this property thing. I do think, this area, this part of the world, and I include Turkey as well, to be honest. Like, it's not just the Gulf. The future is in this part of the world, in Asia specifically. So Middle East specifically, in Asia as well in general. So yeah, where else you going to buy property, man? London.
I was thinking about Saudi's that kind of hype right now. I mean, it's in the early hype.
Yeah.
It's a bit of the Wild West in terms of maybe people haven't quite, located. This is the one. This is the kind of the city or the industry or whatever. But,
right.
I mean, definitely some people are making big money already in Saudi in terms of these consultancies and stuff. But in the next 5 years, people who get in the right place in the next 5 years, they're probably gonna be like Dubai 2005 kind of thing,
Yeah, you're probably right, man. Again, I don't know exactly like where.
Yeah.
Because there's like a few different, like, is it Riyadh, Jeddah, is it Neom? Is it all three of them?
Yeah.
And more than likely, it'll be all three of them. Like, it's good. It's a good place to invest, man. This whole, I think like the Middle East in general is like the cities that are receiving funding and investment, and they're hosting big events. You look at the West, you just think like, even put aside everything else happening right now, like politically and everything like that. Just you look at the society, you just think this isn't going in a good direction. Like the growth isn't here anymore. Even sometimes I meet people here in Dubai who are like, just like English, like through proper English lad. He's like, even he's seen that, bro. It's finished over there. I've moved over here to like make money and do things and try and grow. So even the average English guy girl seeing the trajectory. So yeah, this whole area, man, I think it's where, inshallah, a lot of growth is going to happen. So I think it's a good bet, not a bet, a good investment.
In Wessia, what do you do, like day-to-day stuff, or it's mostly you're promoting it kind of thing, or?
My role is like marketing. Yeah. So that's what we do. We handle marketing strategy basically. So yes, it's kind of day to day. Yeah.
So you do marketing for English speaking, and they do the French. They're already doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's like we're like the sister company of the French company. So Muslim Mobilier is the French company, and like Wassia is the English arm, or the sister company that's just for the English speaking world, basically.
Yeah. There's a lot of French in Dubai, actually. I don't know how many Muslim.
Bro, more than I realized. Oh, a lot, bro. Sometimes you go to the masjid, like, and it's like you come outside, and it's just all like, French brothers, like a huddle. Yeah, honestly, and there's specific communities where it's known for it. It's like, bro, so many French brothers there, and they don't speak English. Like, you speak to them like, oh, croissant, and like you can't, You know, you can come back. But then the community, like, and I asked one of them, was it planned? Like, there's so many of you in this community specifically. Did you guys plan it? And he was like, no, we didn't plan it. Like, we just wouldn't manage to end up here. Wow. And they didn't know each other from France, but there's like, you come out of the Mashi Bros, like 8 of them, like just like big huddle, like talking. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of friends from us here on Berwick. I can see why. It's not rocket science. They're trying to get out of France.
Bro, France is dead, bro. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they stick around. Actually, I kind of do know. Like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, at least why don't they got EU passport? Why don't they move somewhere else in the EU that's better, Yanni, at least? But that probably doesn't sound appealing to them because they've at least got their community they developed in France, right? So they got their masjid and their stuff going on, and probably made their family around them. So going to like Spain or even UK, they're still gonna be in Europe, but they're gonna be just isolated now. But yeah. I mean,
for me, but I'll give you the same advice I gave like 3 years ago, man. It's just like choose any of the Muslim countries, you just move there. You know? Turkey's a good bet. If you're in France, UK, just choose one. If you're from Morocco, go back to Morocco. From Algeria, go back to Algeria. If you're Turkish, go there. Or even if you're not, choose one you like and go there. There's so many options, bro. Like if you are gonna uproot your family, why make it into the UK or to like Spain? Like, bro, just go like somewhere where you're gonna see more masajid and more Muslims and hear that adhan. Like, why would it? If you're gonna do that, which you should, let it be to a Muslim country, man. I don't really see the argument for not doing that at this point. But yeah, alhamdulillah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What was I gonna ask you about? So where's he at? Yeah, and then what's the other project? You said you got even more projects. Is that the newsletter?
So I'm helping out with a newsletter called oddnight.com, which is a new business idea in your email inbox every other night, right? So oddnight.com. I was having fun with that. It's a lot of fun.
I didn't get that. I was like, Odd Night, Ramadan.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get it.
Okay. Yeah. Every other night you're gonna get a business, like a research business idea with like some data in there. So that's a lot of fun. And also I'm helping out with muslimjobs.io, okay, which kind of we can work out what that is from the name. It's a job portal for Muslims trying to find companies, again, whether they're in Muslim lands or not, but at least accommodating to Muslims or maybe Muslim owned, where your Salah, Jumu'ah, Eid is not going to be a problem. Ramadan, there'll be concessions, so on and so forth. With your working hours, potentially. Those kind of jobs where, you don't have to feel like you may be discriminated against as a Muslim. So working on that. So yeah.
How recent is that?
3-4 months.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was fresh because I didn't hear about it. I just heard about that now. MashaAllah.
Yeah, I'm sure I shared it with you in a group chat. I'm sure I did.
Okay. And marketing as well on that?
Yes.
What do you...
sales and marketing, but yeah, bit of both.
Okay. So what do you... how do you learn or keep up to date or keep fresh when it comes to marketing? Is it just by doing it, or
a bit of that, but also like I just listen to good podcasts, man. Like, I'm a podcast guy. That's how we met. Just your podcast way back when. Yeah, I think podcast is my main source. I know you go hard on like you pick a digital marketer or some other market you like casino content a lot. I try to listen to podcasts when I'm going to hear from a lot of different people, and I try. Because there was one point in my life where I was like, what about Gary Vaynerchuk? And I just listened to Gary Vaynerchuk a lot about like marketing stuff, and that had benefits to it. But you do end up sort of pigeonholing yourself and your strategy a little bit. I try to like listen to podcasts where they're gonna have a lot of different guests, and like there was also a lot of different industries where it's like, okay, we're a real estate brokerage. I think a big mistake would be me to like listen to podcasts about marketing a real estate company only, right? It's just pigeonholing myself. It's better for me to have a podcast or a few podcasts where one guest is talking about how they marketed or grew their SaaS company, then it was their like e-commerce, then it was like the brick and physical burger shop, and like how did they grow it, what kind of marketing tactics. You're gonna get more ideas and things like that, rather than just like just specifically how to grow a specific type of industry company.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I do. Try to listen to a few
Cross-pollinate
podcasts that have lots of
from
guests.
different industries.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other, I guess, way to do a similar thing is go back to the principles, right? Like I've been thinking of doing this recently, like go back to the good old days when I was like first learning everything. For example, persuasion. What's his name? Cialdini. What? Robert, is it? I don't know. Something Cialdini. Persuasion, 22 immutable laws of marketing. These things, these are like principles, right? Or like Eugene Schwartz, Joe Sugarman, these top copywriters, right? Like scientific advertising. Like these, read these, which are overall principles, and then apply it to your specific thing, you know? That's cool as well.
That's true. And yeah, like there's another like famous copywriter whose name is evading me right now. He wrote letters, he's considered like one of the best copywriters like to ever live. His name escapes me, but if you type in copywriting letters, I think it was like in the 80s, you'll find his name. But that's something I want to go back to, where it's like those original, I should say, principles of like even before the internet, like how did they get these messages, this brand built? 100%. Have you ever like gone back and reread the 4-Hour Workweek?
Oh, I have, yeah. Well, it never fails.
Such a rush. Yeah, it's such a rush. You're really like, yes, like this is like it's starting all over again. It's like, So we should do that, and like with just marketing specifically, and try and like reignite that. That's a good idea,
bro. Like, what I remember reading that, and I started reading Tim Ferriss' blog as well around that time at certain things, Yanni, and I took certain goals from that I wanted, right? And I've been thinking about that actually in the last week or two, like, so some of those things I accomplished, but there's still a lot to go. Like there's still a lot to do. And I remember like, there was a blog post Tim Ferriss wrote, how to become Jason Bourne or something, right? So that was all about having multiple passports, currencies, this and that, diversifying yourself.
Yeah.
But then overall, I just wanted to develop a lot of skills. I wanted to like develop more skills, and I feel like I've spent the last 7 years developing marketing and business skills. But like, what about, okay, now we're doing horse riding. Okay, that's a good start. But like, there's a lot of these things that I've been missing out. Like I need to focus and put time into that if I want to achieve that. Again, those things.
Yeah. I had this conversation again. I don't know if it was Freshly Grounded or some other time I had this conversation, but again, this whole concept of phases, right? Because I know exactly what you're feeling, right? I feel like I'm behind, or like I haven't like developed enough skills. I've just like kind of stayed kind of in my lane, if you will. But I do, like, again, when I listen to the podcast, right, I listen to My First Million a lot, which one I keep coming back to because I have like a lot of successful people. And it's usually marketing focused too. Most of the people, bro, the vast majority of people that come on there and talk about what they're doing right now, what they've been doing last 10 years, they're like 45 plus, right? They've been about, and if you see what they've been doing when they're like 20s and 30s, they're kind of doing what you and me are doing, which is like just grinding, trying to build these foundations. And when you get to one or two businesses, sort of the wheels really turning on them, that's when you're able to then set time aside to develop these other skills, enter these other industries. So kind of like what we're saying with kids, was like, this is a phase. I see this phase we're in right now as like, this is grind mode. When you're 45 and these guys who I listen to, they've exited 2 companies and they're cruising. They're not in grind mode. They're like in experiment mode, right? Where they're just like developing this skill, doing that. I don't feel like, for me personally, I don't know about you, I don't feel like I'm there yet to do that. I've got more years of grinding to do. You know, and I try to tell myself that because it keeps me grounded. And it like, I mentioned Gary Vaynerchuk earlier, but it's like not getting fancy, right? Don't get fancy yet. Like you're not there. You ain't made it like that yet. So don't get fancy. Like you've got years of grind ahead of you. So again, enjoy it, because you know you can't. There's no. You got years of grind ahead of you, basically, and that's what I told myself. I'm trying to enjoy it.
How do you decide if? Because I agree with you. Like I actually want to grind till I die, right? But maybe the areas that I grind might just change. And it sounds like you're saying you're talking about the business side of things. When do you think you're gonna like focus less on business and money? Like, you know what I mean? or are you, or is that actually your main thing? And you're like, you know, that is my thing.
You mean like in terms of like maybe setting more time aside to like study the deen and things like this?
Well, it could be anything, but other than working towards financial goals, you know what I mean?
Right. Again, like you, I was want to grind and do things until I die, because like even if like one company I'm in right now, it gets sold next year for 500 million and I'm technically fine forever, I'd still do stuff. I'd still like in 3 months time I'd have a new idea that I put in the WhatsApp channel. Hey guys, I just thought this thing. I'd still do that because like that's what I like to do. So, and it's not necessarily about money either, because it's like I said, if I had that, I genuinely believe if I had a $500 million exit, I'd still do some stuff like in a few months. So from that perspective, I probably won't. But like I said, I definitely want to get to a point. I don't know when that point is, and you have to be careful as well, like, because sometimes you'll say, "Oh, when I get to that stage, I'll change things," and then you get there and you set a new milestone, a new goal, and you keep doing that. So you have to be careful of that. I'm well aware of that. But yeah, I don't know when it will be, but I definitely they'll inshallah. It may never come. Allah is best. Like, got no promises that we'll have that long of a life or that business will go that well either. So but yeah, I try to think like that. It's more like I try to plan those phases a little bit if I'm gonna have if Allah wills for me to have experience them. But when I get there, I'll figure out like where, you know, is it now time to pivot here, pivot there. Like this thing that I'm doing now is like not just one business, but 2 or 3 at a time. I didn't plan it, but like it came about, and at that point it was like, should I, shouldn't I? So that's kind of how I feel about this. It's like if I get there, and if those opportunities come my way, and if I'm in a certain position, I'll decide then. But for now, I just feel like just grind. Like, well, it's time to grind.
Did this happen to you? Like when I started, when I was like trying to make money online, I suppose. I was like, let me just make £10. Then I made £10. I was like, okay. Now I was like looking at my expenses, and I was like, if I could just make £1,000, technically I could survive on that. Technically, maybe I could even get married and live on that, right? I was like trying to like compress the expenses to that level, right? So then I make £1,000. Then I was like, okay, to live a normal like middle class life, okay, you need £3,000. Let me say, okay, £3,000. And I kept doing that. And I was in this mode where I'm like, you just need to make some money. Just need to make some money. And then you can get married. Okay, then I got married. But I stayed in that mindset, the same mindset, can you imagine? Like, you just need to make some money. And I was making money for years. I was making more, alhamdulillah, more and more, with obviously ups and downs. But I was making more and more. But I stayed in that same mode. And it actually made me stagnate, I would say. And it made me like, I was like less ambitious, because I was like, okay, there was the 3K goal, then there was like the 5K goal, and then I was like, what even for? I mean, I don't even spend much money as well. So now I think finally, maybe this year, I was like, okay, I'm not in that mode anymore. I'm not in that phase anymore. Now my phase is more like maintenance, finance-wise, Yani, maintenance, and I would say impact, maybe. Impact. So that's like what I'm doing with the front row and the coaching and this kind of stuff. That's like kind of my focus now. So did you kind of do that as well a bit, like where you're stuck in certain phase?
I guess so.
You didn't update your firmware.
I guess. I think you're right. And you say that it made you stagnant, but I look at that sometimes in myself and think maybe that's this sort of like, I don't know about you, that this scarcity mindset, where it's like, you know, I need to make a little bit more because like if this happens, I need like and so that kept me sort of building from that perspective. That's the other side of that. I look at it where it's like, you know, because you could have gone the other way. You could have just said, oh, well, 1,000 is enough, and I'll just stay like that. But you didn't stay stagnant. You did say you need a bit more, you needed more. So it probably did actually make you grow by Allah's permission. That's how I look at it, because I had the same sort of mindset. But yeah, I guess you're right. Like, I guess that's why I'm doing a couple more things now, right? It's like, because I want to have that impact. And like I said, like what I see at Muslim jobs, they definitely fit that that hijra thing that I want to try and facilitate people.
So for you, it's like it's fully that 2-in-1, like impact and business same time.
Yeah, I definitely. If it was just like unrelated to that concept, I probably wouldn't have done it. So yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Last thing, would you ever do like? I mean, I feel like it's inevitable, but would you ever do your own like personal brand thing?
I've kind of half started it a couple of times. Again, that's the kind of thing that I feel like I'm not there yet, right? I've always said this to myself, like, bro, you're not like some people started, and again, that was probably silly because had I started it in my 20s, I probably would be like a personal brand. But I've always kind of felt like I'm not there yet to be given advice or anything like that, and I still don't feel like I'm there. And like I said, I just feel like the best I can do right now is just grind and do things and try to grow as much as possible by Allah's permission. And then if I get there, inshallah, then I can think about that. Like, but right now, I just feel like I'm not ready. I'm not qualified, quite frankly, to sort of go out there and start teaching or start anything like that. And that's not to say that those who are doing it aren't qualified themselves. I know I've got value to give people right now. I know that, but I don't feel like my time as of right now in the phase that I'm in should be given to that. It should be building myself so I can give more value inshallah in 5-10 years time. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it.
What about what's that thing? Document, don't.
I hear it, and again, document, don't. The document, don't create.
Yes, maybe that's.
Yeah, document, don't create. It's Kevin Venture, but not this episode. But yeah, I mean that's kind of why I went through this phase where I will do it, and I'll start and I'll make a video and I stopped doing it. But yeah, again, I feel like we shouldn't look back and say if this, if that. But yeah, I feel like right now it's best for me to just like focus on myself, and because there's a lot of people out there who are in my position, and they give me advice, and it's not that different to when we hear another person in the same position doing it. I haven't made it to that level where I'm going to give like some mad value. I still need to put work and effort and years in to get to that point, I feel. Yeah, that's just me personally. Bro, I'm going to have to give it a hard stop because I need to pray Isha.
Pray Isha, bro, yeah.
So yeah.
Ryan really enjoyed this, man. It's different. Connecting businessman to businessman, you know what I'm saying? Connecting Dubai resident to Dubai resident, ex-resident.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, inshallah, seeing resident again. We'll see. We'll work on it. Once you take those tomatoes, I think you'll
game changer.
Start thinking about it again.
Game changer. Popeyes and the tomatoes.
Yeah, that's it. But Jazakallah khairan for having me on, bro. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And we'll try and do it again soon, inshallah.
Inshallah, maybe we'll do it in person as well. You never know.
Yes, that'd be good.
Okay, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.